Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Get Right with DigiByte. It's been another fantastic day on the DigiByte blockchain, and I'm super stoked to be joined today by RenzoDGB. Renzo is a developer who builds on DigiByte with applications such as the DigiFaucet, and is also the developer behind the Not Your Keys, Not Your DigiByte awareness campaign, DigiAsset NFT project. So, Renzo, thank you so much for joining us on Get Right with DigiByte. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Mike. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you for inviting me to your program. And it's been a very exciting weeks lastly with DigiByte. All my projects has been going great. And the community is lovely. I have lots of support from different people. And I love how the DigiByte community put it together to bring up so many interesting projects, and I'm glad to be part of it.
Yeah, well, that's great. We got a lot of topics to get into, and I can't wait to cover them all. But if we could just spend a few minutes, if you could tell us, how did you first get involved with blockchain technology, and what is it? Was it specifically about DigiByte that really caught your attention?
Well, I'm pretty new at blockchain. I came across this world last year in February last year. I think it was, late January, February, and it was I think it was just a matter of time for me to come across crypto because all my environment has always been about technology, and as again, it was only a matter of time until I came across all this huge world of technology. So I clearly remember that it was one night that I was chatting with some of my cousins about this GameStop craziness that was happening down those days. And then something led to another, and we ended up talking about Dogecoin, this cryptocurrency with a huge marketing campaign. And from there, I started investigating myself on how this works, how can I get into this, and then I got to buy my first Bitcoin. And as difference or something special that I like about my first bite of Bitcoin is that I bought it in a website that allows me to set up my own wallet, and they will send the Bitcoin right to me. So since the first time that I have contact with crypto, I was having the power or the ownership of my own coins. And for me as a newbie, it was terrifying because I didn't know if I was one step ahead of losing everything I got in some, I don't know, common error or being able to successfully buy, well, in that scenario, Dogecoin, that was the first cryptocurrency that I got. After a few weeks of researching, of learning about this world of first generation coins, like the ones forgot from Bitcoin, I came across with a group of coins, and with them was DigiByte. And what made me notice DigiByte for the first time was the ships fees to get it off from exchanges. Of course, because DigiByte is on one of the networks that has lower transaction fees. And that's actually my first approach. I found DigiByte for purely randomness. But then after researching more on this project, I decided that it was worth it to give it a look. And then I decided to start coding it with cryptocurrencies. My first attempts to code in or to generate my own transactions wasn't with DigiByte, but after finding that some problems with transaction speed, with the value of the coins, I ended up working with DigiByte, and I love it.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, you mentioned the transaction fees, which are so low, and I think that's obviously one of the key advantages that DigiByte has over many other blockchains. Whether it's Bitcoin, and of course, we'll be talking more about Ethereum, and the fees are just out of this world, and and it blows my mind that you can spend all this money on a transaction and still have it fail. Like it's like how is that even a feature that is going to appeal to people, at least a broader audience. So but to step a little further about, when you first got into cryptocurrency, so you're already studying uh, programming, right? Computer languages and technology.
Yes.
So you were already in the technology space to begin with, and then you learned about blockchain and cryptocurrency. So how have you been able to combine the two worlds? Take what you already know and what you already do, and then with this new discovery of this new technology.
Well, I'm coding since I was 15 years old in 2016, around that times. And I started with C Sharp. And I've been around coding all this time. Had in the university, I was a coding teacher or a coding coach, something like that. And when I came across crypto, I started as trading, which I'm not good at, I admit it. But then I
Same.
started
Yeah.
to realize, but then I started realizing that I can do much more things with crypto than just exchanging them.
Mhm.
And I started to begin asking the questions on how can I do that? And then I realized that I could apply all that knowledge that I have previously into coding, into computer servers and stuff, and oriented um, that work that I've been working on to crypto. And I remember that my first crypto project was a Telegram chatbot to retrieve the prices of different coins from the Binance API, which is pretty easy to use. And this was like the first project that I ever set up. As I have a server that I bought for my personal business that I used to have that dates. I enabled some settings up there and pulled that Telegram bot over there, and people can just interact using Telegram with my server, and the server will respond them with different commands. I think that bot used to have a lot of features like alarms for prices and stuff. And I remember that on those were like those that was like March of 2021, and I was discovering DigiByte, so I decided to put DigiByte on the main page or in the main menu of that bot, uh,
Nice.
next to some other coins that I used to have those days. And I everything that I was doing, I was posting it on Reddit. I still not discovered Twitter during those days.
Mm.
But after that, I realized that coding with crypto was something that anyone can do. And you don't need to ask permission to anyone to code or to interact with the blockchain. And that's something that blew my mind that days. Because until now, if I wanted to code with a service like, I don't know, WhatsApp, or I don't know, maybe a bank services, I used to need to ask for an API, for an endpoint, set up my credit card or my data and stuff. But with crypto, it's different. I only need an endpoint to retrieve data from the blockchain, or I can set up my own node too, and that's it. I'm ready to go. And when I tried to first code transactions or to create transactions with DigiByte using the Bitcore library for Node.js, it was a disaster. I remember losing a lot of Litecoin those days. That's the
Oh yeah.
first coin that I attempted to use or to transact with. Then I tried Bitcoin Cash, yeah. And then or a matter of I don't want to lose so much money on this, I went to Dogecoin. But the problem with Dogecoin was in those days the network was a little bit over saturated, and I needed
Mm.
something faster. And that's when I remember, hey, do I have a 15 seconds block time? Why can't I use that? And as all of these coins have the same technology behind it, which is the Bitcoin protocol, the Bitcoin scripting language, I can use basically the same code for all of this code. So I only need to set up or change a few things, and I have everything working on for DigiByte. So in front of me was a self permissionless blockchain that I can use as whatever I like in whatever services that I like. because you don't need to ask permission to use DigiByte in your project. You just use it. In fact, you don't even need to be human to use DigiByte. And DigiFaucet, the project that I was creating on those days, that we're gonna get into that later, is a website that uses DigiByte to give it away to people. So DigiByte is not a person. DigiFaucet is not a person. So it's a software that interacts automatically with the blockchain and without need to ask anyone for permission to do so.
Wow, that's fascinating. Yeah, so well, let's talk more about the DigiFaucet since you brought it up. And just for people watching who may not be familiar with what a faucet is, this is a website or an app which people can go to and they can earn free coins. In this case, DigiByte. In a lot of cases, they have to watch an ad or jump through some hoops, maybe in order to earn back that coin. So tell us what's different about your site and with the DigiByte faucet and DigiFaucet.
In my first day of crypto, I was looking ways to earn crypto without having to pay for it, either with faucets, either with another service or whatever. But what I found was that every faucet that I came across with for other altcoins and Bitcoin were giving a little bit piece of coins, which is understandable. But the problem was that they will not let you withdraw automatically those coins. You'll need to first have like an account and have an aggregated balance, and when you reach some limit, you can withdraw all of that. So I actually never got to withdraw any of the coins or the Bitcoin, like in Dogecoin, that I accumulate those days in faucets. But after developing with DigiByte or with those sets that I mentioned earlier, I noticed that I have a functional core that can distribute coins with a pretty simple calculus or signing transactions and stuff. And with the speedness of DigiByte, in that time I was able to basically have like 4 parallel addresses where I can set DigiByte from and send that claiming amount on real time. And that's from myself on those days, that was something that was worth to investigate with. So after having this core, I decided to build something on top of it. My first idea didn't succeed, and then I came across the DigiFaucet idea to have a website where anyone can claim coins without asking questions, without ads. In fact, DigiFaucet does not have any ads, and I don't have plans to add them to DigiFaucet anytime now. And just with a little captcha to prevent someone from draining it. And I decided that it was time for that project to see the light. So in a week, I coded everything. I looked up for a name, and I saw that digifaucet.org was available, which is a very catchy name. So I was surprised that it was still available, that domain. So I bought it, put everything up. And the story is already know. We are almost a year. There's about to get a year anniversary from that date, 15 May 2021.
Wow. Well, congratulations on reaching that important milestone. The neat thing about your faucet too, I think that distinguishes it from others is that the faucet can also be used to give away DigiAssets, which is how the Not Your Keys, Not Your DigiByte campaign came about. I know you collaborated with Johnny Law and DGB to create the artwork and kind of coordinate everything as far as creating the DigiAssets NFTs, which can be earned for free by going to DigiFaucet. All you need to do is just get a version 3 address, correct, from DigiAssets, and then go to the website, put in your address, and then you get the asset. It's pretty much that simple. Is that correct, or am I missing a step there?
Correct. I'm gonna show to all the public faucet. So I'm gonna show the screen right now.
Okay.
Okay. So here I have the main DigiFaucet interface. Where you can ask for free DigiBytes over here. Just put your address and click send. But as you said, this faucet has also the ability to distribute DigiAssets, which are NFTs on the DigiByte blockchain using the DigiAssets protocol. Well, at the beginning, DigiFaucet starts by just sending DigiByte. But late 2021, September, October, November, I decided that I wanted to give it a look into see if I could distribute DigiAssets too, because they are an important part of the DigiByte ecosystem. So after a lot of research, a lot of conversation with Magic Cornelius, the creator of DigiAssets and the developer of the version 3 DigiAssets protocol, I was able to to understand how things work on the DGAsset protocol, on the DGAsset layer, and able to code a little piece of code that can encode DGAsset's transaction. So then I put that little code in the DigiByte, in the DigiFaucet core that I developed last year, and I was able to get this part of the website, which is a faucet for DigiAssets. You only need to go to DigiAssets, logging in with using DigiID with Coinomic, the DigiID app, or even using your Ledger hardware wallet with an application that I released last month. And just get your main address and put over here to receive this DigiFaucet asset or any asset that will be listed here. Hope we can get more. Or for just the month of May, you can claim this self-custody asset to remind you, or it's like a little batch to remind you that you always, or that the best practice is for you to keep your DigiBytes on your own private keys, so you can have full custody of them. So the process is the same. You put your address here, send asset, and in a couple of minutes, you'll get nice DG asset on your wallet.
Yeah, it looks great. You guys, especially DGB, did a fantastic job with the animation,
Yes.
the artwork behind it, and it makes a great profile picture too for whatever social media platform you're on.
Oh yeah.
You can download it and then upload it and just really show support to everyone you come in contact with, that to remind them the importance of holding your own private keys and why it matters. And I know in addition to that, you can also create your own custom profile picture. Show us about that there at the bottom, if you may.
Mm-hmm.
So this will allow you to. Okay, go ahead.
I think I have a profile picture here. No, I don't have it.
Well, here.
You only need to choose the images, and the website automatically would frame it with this cool "Not Your Keys, Not Your Crypto" frame ring.
Mm-hmm. Right. And so here's what it will look like after it's done. I'm going to switch my graphic up here. I don't know if you can see that, Renzo, up in the top left of our screen. It's our show logo. We put the "Not Your Keys, Not Your DigiByte" ring around our logo, and it looks fantastic. So great job with that. That's a really neat feature. Because maybe like people are like, oh, well, I don't want to put up the DigiAsset as my profile picture. If everyone else does it, then people, you don't know who's.
You won't recognize anyone.
Right. Everyone just kind of, blends in together visually. So this is a neat little, extra touch, I think, to the campaign that you guys have started. Now, another thing I wanted to ask you about regarding DigiAssets, because I know you also created an Explorer for DigiAssets. Is that correct?
Yes. The story of the Explorer is a little bit different. I'm gonna put the Explorer over here. I'm gonna show you later. I'm going to return to the camera just to talk for a little bit. Okay. So the DigiAssets Explorer it started very, very simple, and it came up from the necessity to left behind from the old Digi Explorer. Do you remember that it has a view for assets? But after that site unfortunately crashed down, we didn't have a way to look up into DigiAssets. So in October or September 2021, I decided that it was time for me to create a new project for the community. And I set up a website that was able to, using the DigiAssets syncing feature from their website, to have a list of every DG asset ever minted. On that time, I think that we had only 1,000 or something like that. And just to retrieve the data from IPFS. So that's how the protocol works. But as months came across, I realized that this model of working from the Explorer wasn't working because it was very complicated. So then I decided to fully integrate it with all the version 3 features that Magic has put into the protocol, and with a full new design of the UI after all those months of experience that I gained from other projects, I was able to create the DigiAssets Explorer. So now I'm going to show it. I think that it was going to take a little bit more time, sorry.
No, that's fine.
Okay, so here is the Explorer. You'll see that my skills as a front-end developer are not very good because it has almost the same interface as DigiFaucet. I think that's gonna be like the watermark for all my projects. These weird interfaces.
The Renzo look.
Yeah, kind
Yeah,
of.
that's
And anyone right now can look up here for any DG asset ever minted on the DigiByte blockchain. It can't, you can look up here for the asset name, the creator, or even the asset ID, or the address, or the smart contracts minted in DigiAssets. But that's another story. If you go to assets, you're gonna have the full list of assets that we have right now. We have almost, or a little bit more of 3,000 assets minted. Most of them are, I think, DigiByte, which is a great project, and the Qubit House too. And with this, you can search in all the DigiAsset Metaverse that we have constructed together. Because remember that this is work from all the community, from all the assets that everyone is minting on the blockchain. So I don't know if there's any blockchain where you can do this, just check every single asset. But you can look up here for any asset you want. For example, you can do, if I write here the word bank, I'm gonna find the self-custody asset that DGB minted that is being given away with DigiFaucet, this one.
wow.
And here I'm able to find all the information, all the important information about the asset. First of all, the name, then the preview of the icon image, the asset ID, which is a unique identifier for every DG asset, the issuance address, so who mint the DG asset, the issuance height from in which block this DG asset was first seen, the name of the issuer, the asset name, the description, the content, because remember that DG assets are are just a bunch of files, put it in together, hashing all of them, and put it in the blockchain. So it's like a little folder where I can get any file I want. Anything can be converted into a DG asset, not just images. You can put in there HTML files, RAR files, binary files, whatever you're filling into that day, you can put it into the asset. Then you can see how many mintage or issues have been made to this asset. In this case, it's a one-time asset. That's because we have one entry here. And we can have a little bit more details about economics. For example, we have an initial supply of 1,000. Right now, there is 991 assets, which means that 9 has been burned. And the total number of holders. So this means that 116 addresses hold this asset. Then you can see the rules of transaction here. You'll see that if you want to transact with this asset, you'll need to pay a free DigiByte royalties to the creator. And these are a little bit more complicated stuff that I don't want to get in here. But what it blew my mind with the API that Matthew built for DigiAssets is the ability to have a list of every single address that holds the asset. And this, when I say that it blew my mind, it's because it really does. Because with this, you're able to see who owns how much of every single asset of DigiByte. And this is proof that this blockchain technology is not just public and for everyone, but that can be used for a lot of things, not just for having just this little batch. There's a lot of use cases of DigiAsset here. And basically that's it for the asset parts. Also, you can watch, well, smart contracts created at DigiAssets. Those are DigiAssets smart contracts. So this is not decentralized. This is actually centralized. It's a service provided by DigiAssets. But I decided that it was meant, or it was a good idea to include it in the Explorer, because when you're trying to buy an asset, you'll need to secure yourself that the address that you're sending money to is not a fake one, it's a real one. So if you put an address here, it will tell you if it's a contract or if it's a random address, right? And basically that's it about the Explorer. I also add an option to have your own shop. For example, this is my shop where I list all my DGSs that I'm selling right now. And you can get your shop too. It's only $5 worth of DigiByte. The transaction is done automatically. You send DigiByte to the address that the site provides, and with only one block confirmation, the shop is yours. So you can have your own shop. And I think that's it for the Explorer.
Well, that's
basically
that's
a work, or it's a pub for all the technology that Matthew has built into the assets and just made public. Or well, for the non-techie, because all that he has provided to the developer community and the ones who run the nodes are far more superior than the Explorer. But for non-techie guys, could be
Yeah, and you're saying that includes DigiAssets that were created on V2 as well as V3?
Yeah, Matthew had the amazing idea to make this backwards compatibility, which means that if you had the old DGS that was meant until last year, you can use them as normal in the new DigiAsset wallet. So yeah, every single DigiAsset that was minted on the DigiByte blockchain since 2017 and all this started is on Explorer.
That's great. Yeah. So I made a few back in the day, and it was a lot of fun. It was really neat, and I really, the idea to create, I refer to them as digital units of content. I come from a entertainment industry background, so I see, DigiAssets and NFTs potentially as returning to what I call the golden age of content, and this was back when, you had physical discs, that were available of movies and TV shows, and it included the movie, but also your director's commentary, special features, all the trailers, TV spots, just the works. And within a DigiAsset, you could put all this extra information that could relate to a TV show or a movie. But again, there was limitations to what you could do with version 2 of DigiAssets, and it's great that Matthew had the foresight to create version 3 in a way that incorporated the old assets from version 2, because the ones I did were kind of for fun and proof of concept, and I just a lot of them I just did them as part of giveaways on Twitter and things like that. But I know people created some for bigger reasons, and if you weren't able to carry those on, people could feel pretty upset about that, I think. And so to be able to have your asset live on in future versions is it's really important. So it's great that he was able to get that done. Now, I want to ask you. You mentioned that you're still in school. Do your fellow students, are they involved with blockchain in any way, or are you kind of just doing your own thing? How's that looking down there?
I got a few of my friends into cryptocurrency on the top of the last bull market, so they're right now not very happy with me. But I think that the main idea is for them to understand this technology. So they're still around, they're still pendant of the news, but they're still asking me when this price is going to be up so I can recover my money. Yeah, that all came across all the hype that we had last year, not just with DigiByte, but with other altcoins too. It was a very crazy year. But what I love about those bull runs is that we can get attention from new public and get new blood into the system. That's how I get into this world. So without that, I wouldn't be sitting here.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and
Yeah, and
well, oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I was just finished the idea of saying that for my friends and family, because the first person that I got into cryptocurrency was my mother. I created in that day some cool stuff called paper wallet. And I think that it's a great tool for beginners to get in touch with crypto, because the main problem that someone had when they recently got their first cryptocurrency is that it's something intangible. You cannot have it. You cannot have it on your hands. So paper wallets are the best way to give them something that they can actually see, touch, feel, and explain to them that, well, in some sort of way, that is what is contained in their coins, because there's the private key. In fact, I have here some of the first paper wallets that I printed. I used to have from a lot of coins. These ones are the ones that I made for DigiByte. It has the address here, and here pretty secure with tape is the private key. So every time that I came across my cousins, my friend, my dad, my uncle, anyone who wants to listen to me, I gave them this one to them, send them some DigiByte from my wallet, and now they can own their DigiByte. Of course, if you are not new into this world and you hold an important amount of crypto, you should not use this, because it has not the ability to recover your funds once this is lost. So
Right.
yeah, I think that if you want your friends to get into crypto, maybe it's a good idea of either setting up a wallet for them or give them a paper wallet to for them have something to rely on or to watch while they're learning.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Yeah, I mean, uh, it's fun to watch people as they first get involved with it. I've had a few friends, few coworkers who downloaded the DigiByte wallet, and to kind of explain to them what's going on. They're like, well, what does sync mean? And why is this taking so long? And you kind of explain to them, and it's like, well, it's got to talk to the blockchain, and the concept that, when I send you coins, these coins don't live in your app or on your device. Everything just exists on the blockchain. But what you hold are the private keys to that wallet that DigiByte is assigned to on the blockchain. So, it's all about protecting that wallet.
Yeah, in fact, the DigiByte, DigiByte Bitcoin Litecoin even does not rely on the private key. The private keys, public keys, addresses are just an abstraction, a second layer abstraction of what can be done with blockchain. Using the scripting language, you technically can send DigiByte to just anyone without even the need of an address. It's a pretty amazing world that I've just got into studying
Oh, wow.
how really Bitcoin works. And it was
Okay.
checking to me because we're really actually into setting up an address, and you say, hey, here's your DigiByte. And it's a little bit more complicated. So if anyone has the time to investigate that, it's actually a pretty interesting world and will give you a complete new look of DigiByte, Bitcoin, whatever.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, that's sounds pretty fascinating. You'll have to learn more about it and come back on this show and tell us what you've learned. 'Cause that sounds kind of beyond my ability to understand what's happening. I'm because this is why I love talking to guys like you, because you really understand this at a level that I never will or care to, but really need to. But it's fascinating stuff. Because like I said, I'm more of the, hey, I like the sizzle, but you're the one that's cutting the steak. So, well, tell us, like, what other projects do you see that you have in the pipeline, or that you'll be working on here in the near future?
Well, up to now, I've published 5 different projects for the DigiByte community. The first one is DigiFaucet. then the Asset Explorer. During summer, I built a DigiByte app. No, DigiByte app. No, a DigiByte wallet that runs in any operating system using the terminal, and it's actually a standard companion wallet, so it's fully compatible with Ledger and Konami. And but the only person that should really use that wallet is me, because I built it. Anyone should use it because they don't know how it's built. But one important thing that I want to provide to the community with that wallet is the fact that anyone can watch how the code is written. It's actually a pretty simple code. I try to embed all the wallet functionality in just one file in different functions, so that anyone who's wondering how wallets work in the inside can look at for it. I use it just for some few things, for example, finding vanity addresses and stuff, but nothing more. I got my DigiByte on a ledger. Then I publish the DigiByte.js library, which is an implementation of the Bitcore library from BitPay. That says that I want that library to sustain the three filers of DigiByte. Up to now, it's fully compatible with two of them, the DigiByte currency and the DigiID protocol. The part of the DigiAsset is being built right now. I'm working on that. It's working, but I wouldn't trust that so much because DigiAssets are a very fragile thing. One little mistake and your asset will be burned. It's working right now, but please don't try to use it. And the last project that I got to release 2 months ago was a DigiID implementation for desktop to use with Ledger hardware wallets, which allows you to have or to log into websites like DigiAssets, the DigiAssets Explorer, or Change Angel, I think it was, with private keys that has never touched any device with internet. So that's what I have published up to now. I'm, of course, working in new projects. I have a couple of them under the table, one including DigiAssets and one that is a native layer 2 application with DigiByte that uses the same technology as DigiAsset, but it's not a DigiAsset. And I hope to publish them at finish of Q3 this year or Q4, because it needs a lot of work in the background. And I was forgetting all the DigiAssets that I have published. I managed to create some cool DigiAssets like the games and some other utility assets that are little applications on the DigiByte blockchain. Well, to be fair, they're on IPFS referencing by the DigiByte blockchain, but still, I'm gonna show that part because that's something that DigiAssets has embedded into their protocol or into the way of usage that everyone should know for them to be able to use that feature. Okay, so I'm gonna show my screen into the Explorer. Okay, that's it. We are here in the Explorer right now, and I'm gonna look for first the games. I'm gonna write here the game, this game, and this will give me all the DigiAssets that has at least a word game on it. So I have published 2 games until now. I'm working on a third one and a fourth one with collaboration with DGB. So what this games has of special is that they're not just an image. Sorry, they're not just an image. They have more metadata inside of the DigiAsset that allows this to be like a game cartridge with all the game code inside of it. So if you can see here the content, you'll see that we have the icon, which is the image that you're watching it here. We have a description, which is the HTML file, and we have the game code itself. So this is like the game code. And this description is an HTML file with the game implemented on it. So every time the asset or your DigiByte wallet finds an asset with a description field of HTML file, it will show this show content over here. And when you click it, it will reproduce that content. So you can have applications inside the DigiByte blockchain. Probably these applications are not going to be able to communicate with the blockchain, so they are technically not the apps as the way as we know them of the Ethereum blockchain, but it's a cool way to distribute programs. I always say that the DigiPixel project, that's the name of the project that is building the games. I always say that this project is I haven't put a lot of effort to it, to the website and to the environment of the games, but the games itself, it's totally independent to the project. If tomorrow I decide to finish up or to terminate the DigiPixel project, the games will not die because the game is inside the DigiAsset. That's something different that can be done with DigiAsset, because up to now we have used DigiAssets as kissed content, which is the case of the DGB coming, which is great because it protects copyright content. But for the games, I decided that I want this to be like a game cartridge. That's why I used the NES picture of it. And if this project doesn't succeed, then the people who bought the game will still have the game and will have the ability to play it. Well, not even then. As you saw, the game can be played in the Explorer too. And that's it for any other game or any other application, because I have applications or little programs published in the DigiByte blockchain too, which is the utility collection that I've been working on. For example, the DigiByte price manager, the DigiByte QR code generator, and the DigiByte price converter, statistics. These 4 assets are put on the DigiByte blockchain and that anyone can use. For example, my favorite so far is, well, it's between the QR generator and the DigiByte converter. This one is the QR generator is, as its name says, it's a QR code that you can generate a QR code from a DigiByte address. In fact, you can look up here for the keyword QR, and you'll find here the asset DigiByte QR code generator. And you'll see once again this show content badger button. And when you click it here, you'll see this little application that allows you to create QR codes from your address, or you can pass it on to your friends, post them on your social media. But when I got into this is that you can create little applications in HTML using JavaScript, all the web technologies you know, and publish it on the DigiByte blockchain and distribute it using DigiAssets. And it will live here forever, or well, forever, you know, until some catastrophic,
until the internet fad dies out, right?
Correct. Yeah. Correct. Well, so as I show you, there's a huge or a lot of use cases what you can do with DigiAssets. DigiAssets, of course, are not Turing complete because of the way that the protocol is designed. So they can't do everything, but they can do a finite number of things. And sometimes a finite number of things are really long number. So if you had an idea and try to implement some way into DigiAssets, then probably you're going to succeed on it. I used to have some projects that I want to do with DigiAssets that I'm going to publish them soon, I promise. I don't want to spoil that too much. But it can, oh my God, I can't find the word for that, sorry. Okay, I'm gonna do that part all over again.
No problem.
Where was it? I was saying that, okay, I was saying the part of the project. I can't find the word, sorry. Okay, right now I know what to say.
Okay. Well, here, do you want me to just pick it up? I'll just ask you. I was going to ask you about, like your GitHub account. Do you want me to jump there? Is that?
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Okay. Well, that's amazing stuff, Renzo. I did want to ask, a lot of these things that you've built, are they up on your GitHub account?
Yeah, well, in my GitHub account, basically all the projects that I have published to the community are open source, so anyone can watch the source code. of course, some of them are private because of security reasons. DigiFaucet codes are not public right now, but other codes are totally public, and you can, or anyone can review them and modify them. For example, the DigiByte library, the old DigiAssets Explorer, the source code of my DigiAssets are also public. Well, this GB scanner is an old project that didn't succeed, but the most interesting I think right now is here, the DigiID desktop. This is a good implementation on how to include Ledger on your project, so you should give it a try, or you should review them if you want to. So as long as I keep working on this, I will keep publishing my source codes on GitHub so anyone can look at them, modify them if they're public, of course, with the attribution and the MIT license or whatever license I decided to put onto them. So that's basically it for my work right now. If I get into new projects, I of course will be publishing here. Here you can find all the information that I have about me, some projects I have, well, some contact information. My Telegram is open, so anyone can write that there to me to share their ideas. I'm totally fine with it. And well, I think that's basically all with my projects.
Yeah, well, that's great. So yeah, if anyone wants to give you a follow over on GitHub, we'll put the link down below in the description. I know you're pretty active on Twitter as well. We'll put your handle up there at RenzoDGB, and we'll put a link down in the description as well to all the sites that we talked about during this conversation. So the viewers can quickly and easily access all the things you've been working on. And it's been really fantastic to chat with you, Renzo. Do you have any closing thoughts as we wrap up this interview?
Yeah, I think that I could say to everyone who's watching this that if they have a little bit of knowledge of coding, or if they're recently starting off coding, you only need to find the correct information on the internet to start development, not just with DigiByte, but with other cryptocurrencies. There's a lot of material out there. There's a whole of community willing to support you, and you only need to find the correct path for your journey. I would recommend you to start watching YouTube tutorials of how to use some stuff. Probably get in touch with JavaScript Node.js to handle DigiByte transactions or any cryptocurrencies transaction, because there's so much material over there. And if you want to get into the internals of Bitcoin, DigiByte, or any other first generation coin, you can look up into the book Mastering Bitcoin, which is a great book from Andreas Antonopoulos. It helped me a lot to understand how this environment work. And if you are interested in how DigiByte architecture works, you can always find a lot of information online. At first, I recommend you to everyone to start with layer-free applications. That are the ones that use blockchain as an intermediary for some, and to use, the blockchain from the outside, like regular humans do. Then you can start working on layer 2, which are the applications that uses the blockchain to create consensus on handling data or whatever, like DigiAssets. Mm-hmm. And then if you're really willing into this world, you can start working with the layer 1, which is a really DigiByte core protocol, the communication protocol, which is actually pretty exciting to work. I hope to start learning that soon. And right now I'm in the transition from layer 3 to layer 2. I've had a lot of experience with layer 3. All my projects has been in there. And that's it. It's not impossible to start working on it. You just need to have the right tools. And in the internet, you're always going to find people willing to help. If you have some doubts, you can write me to my Telegram. I'll be happy to give you hints for where you can start researching. And that's it. Good luck in your journey if you're watching this.
All right. Well, this has been great stuff. Thank you so much for coming on and telling us, your experience with working with DigiAssets and building on DigiByte, and and just your story. I know the community is really eager to learn about it, and they're excited to see developers such as yourself that see the potential in DigiByte and are building on it, and are willing to help other members of the community get their feet wet and get involved with using the blockchain. Again, we'll put all the links down below in the description. And thanks again for your time and for your knowledge and sharing it with us. I hope you come back sometime in the near future and give us some updates on your current projects, and
Yeah, sure.
and let everyone know how things are going. So
Yeah,
Renzo,
sure.
all right, well, great. Thanks again so much for joining us here on Get Right with DigiByte. Remember, if you're not right with DigiByte, you're doing it wrong. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you in the next video.